From the sepia-tinted view of Lagos skyline, where towering buildings dance with the history of a city that refuses to stay silent, emerges an epic tale. A tale that begins in the soulful alleys of Kano and winds its way through the hallowed corridors of power. In this cinematic journey, crafted for hearts as much as for minds, the life of Murtala Mohammed is unfurled like an ancient scroll, its parchment inked with bold decisions, daring reform, and a liberating Pan-African vision. The narrative is a mix of poetry and wit, a tribute that is as engaging as it is reflective, recognizing that beneath the weight of history, even the mightiest must sometimes smile at their own audacity. The introductory moments open with the soft, mesmerizing strains of ambient percussion as the camera glides over a sepia-toned Lagos skyline, framed by an animated textile border that pulses with African patterns. The narrative voice, rich with poetic intensity, reminds us we must refuse to be led astray. With a slight wry inflection, the narrator muses on how those very streets of Lagos, teeming with life and stories, have silently witnessed the footsteps of a man whose presence was as disruptive as it was necessary, Murtala Mohammed, whose spirit remains an unfinished yet ever-inspiring dream of reform. The transition, marked by the animated map weaving its way across the screen, brings us to the early life and military ascent of a leader born in Kano. The archival photos of Kano and the solemn images from the prestigious corridors of Sandhurst tell a tale of ambition. With a gentle nod to the ironies of fate and a sprinkle of humor at the expense of bureaucratic rigidity, the narrative sweeps us away on a journey to a young officer who not only carried a uniform, but also the storied weight of a nation's potential. The map of Congo and other animated overlays add a dynamic touch, hinting at how military cadence and intellectual curiosity blended in his formative years, setting the stage for reforms that would leave an indelible mark. A seamless shift into the reform era takes us into the inner sanctum of governance. Newspaper headlines flutter by like lively gossip in a town square, underscored by typewriter effects that clack away at what might otherwise be seen as a monotonous march of bureaucracy. Instead, the narrative sprinkles in humor when it recalls how the office purges seemed almost as dramatic as a revolting office party gone awry. A party where perhaps every document had its own voice and every memo its own tale. With immediate effect, proclaims an overlay, almost as if the call was announced by a humorously officious announcer in the midst of change. This era, filled with robust reforms and calculated disruptions, underscores Murtala Mohammed's commitment to a clean slate, unafraid to demolish the old guard even if it meant staring down the absurdity of entrenched power structures. The story soon blossoms into a celebration of a Pan-African vision, a vision both grand and relatable, capturing the essence of liberation across the African continent. Archival scenes at the Organization of African Unity Summit are interwoven with animated overlays that gently remind the viewer that history can, at times, be as dramatic as a well-directed Nollywood blockbuster. The resonant echo of Murtala's own words, "Africa has come of age," rings out effortlessly over ambient strings, laced with a humor that winks at the notion that perhaps, in the midst of weighty decisions, one might chuckle at the sheer timely nature of a continent finally declaring its maturity. The cinematic narrative captures this spirit with grace, balancing the gravity of liberation with the subtle humor of inevitable change. Inevitably, the chapter darkens as the narrative turns to the morning of an assassination and the subsequent tumult that swept across Lagos. The camera lingers over a bustling, vibrant Lagos street, now transformed in the collective memory into a stage of tragedy, a reenactment of traffic converging into an exquisite ballet of chaos and lament. The quiet glow of candlelight during a vigil serves as a poignant counterpoint to earlier triumphs, and yet, even here, the narrative finds room for a small, defiant grin at the capricious twists of fate, a reminder that even in mourning, life's absurdity refuses to be muted. The slow, thoughtful cadence of the narrator evokes both respect and a bittersweet humor for the tragic irony of a legacy abruptly halted as historic footage of Obasanjo's oath fades softly into view. In the final act, we journey toward the enduring legacy of a man whose life and untimely departure sparked a transformation felt at every level of society. Images of Lagos International Airport, pulsating with energy yet steeped in quiet reverence, meld with foundation clips that celebrate reform, legacy, and modern resilience. With reflective narration, the viewer is left with a sense of continuity and a hope that the seeds planted in that moment of radical change continue to flourish. Even the smallest details carry a trace of wry humor, acknowledging that history, with all its grandeur, is often laced with moments that are as human and imperfect as a well-timed joke. The narrative winds down with a montage framed by the same vibrant textile border that first heralded the film's entry, a visual bookend that bridges past and present. A final resonant quote echoes as music fades, ensuring that audiences carry forward both the intensity and the gentle humor that punctuated Murtala Mohammed's storied journey. On the concluding credit panel, details read, "Directed by Chinedu Agunobi, produced by Fullbreed Custom and NollywoodTrend.com, written, narrated, and curated by Chinedu Agunobi, with visual restoration and poetic scripting by the same visionary. This tribute stands as a testament to African pluralism, historical truth, and cultural sovereignty, a tale told with both bold resolve and the knowing smile of one who understands that even history can have a sense of humor." Thus, under the gentle gaze of time, this documentary unfolds as both a scholarly treatise and a wry love letter to the past, a chapter titled Debt of Brotherhood, the Murtala Mohammed chapter.